some fun. Tune in late at night or tune in the sun. This is TFM. Get ready to rock. From AM to PM. Come on. Let's talk.
TFM 95.4.
Let's talk.
Live on TFM and the TFM Facebook page. This is the live feed of TTV. Let's talk.
Hello and welcome to the Midday Update. Here's the latest update from our newsroom. The Ministry of Health today announced the registration of 9 new coronavirus deaths in Oman. The death toll has now touched 393 in Oman due to the virus so far, the officials at the Ministry of Health informed. They also extended their deepest condolences to the family of the deceased. Officials at the Ministry of Health also announced the registration of 1,053 new coronavirus cases in the country today. 952 of the new cases are Omani nationals and 101 for non-Omanis, bringing the total number of coronavirus cases registered in the Sultanate to 77,058. According to the Ministry of Health, this number also includes the recovery of 57,028 patients and 393 deaths. The ministry urged everyone to adhere to social distancing instructions issued by the Supreme Committee and the Ministry of Health, as well as staying at home and not going out unless necessary. It's time for a quick commercial break, but stay tuned as we have more updates your way. Welcome back to TTV. You're watching Midday Update. Eid ul-Adha holidays has been extended till August 6, the Diwan of Royal Court said in a statement this morning. The decision comes based on the directives of His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq. The Eid holidays will now be from July 30th Thursday till August 6th next Thursday. People showing symptoms of coronavirus will be told to isolate themselves for 10 days, and coronavirus tests in government hospitals will be reserved only for medical staff and hospitalized patients, the Ministry of Health has decided. Speaking exclusively to the Times of Oman, an official from the ministry said, "Whoever has a cold must isolate, and if they have COVID-19 symptoms ranging from mild to moderate, they will be treated as a positive case and their name will be added to the healthcare system without a test." Since 25th July 2020, this system of testing has been implemented across all government health institutions. Patients, however, can still receive COVID testing at private hospitals in Oman. The official added that there will be no tests for those who have symptoms of severe cold, temperature above 38 degrees Celsius, coughing and shortness of breath. If the conditions do not require hospitalization, their name will be recorded and they will be asked to isolate themselves for 10 days. The same procedures will apply to the primary contacts of the person. If any person's condition worsens, they will be asked to admit themselves to a health institution. Exceptions are made for employees in the health sector and only those who are already hospitalized. This is a health policy used by the Gulf and European countries because there is no treatment for COVID-19. Even if a positive condition is discovered, no treatment can be offered except medical care for critical cases, the official added. Several areas in Oman have reported no new cases of coronavirus on Sunday, according to stats from the Ministry of Health. Data from the Tarassut COVID-19 monitoring app shows that 2 vilayats in North Sharqiya, Qabil and Wadi Bani Khalid, reported no new cases of the disease yesterday. Similarly, the Vilayat of Al-Hamra in the Governorate of Ad-Dakhliya and the Vilayat of Sunaina in Al-Buraimi both showed no positive tests for COVID-19. Two more areas in South Sharqiya, Jalan Bani Bu Hassan and Masira Island, also had no new cases come back. In Oman's northern governorate of Musandam, Wilayat Dibba and Wilayat Bukha both reported no new positive cases of the disease, and it was the same in the central area of Wusta, where both Wilayat Dukum and Wilayat Haima both reported no additional positive cases of COVID-19. 76,005 cases of COVID-19 were reported in Oman yesterday. Of these, 55,299 people were cured of the disease, while 20,322 continued to have the virus. In addition to that, as of July 26, nearly 300,000 tests were conducted. Basic services will be available during movement ban, which has been implemented from 25th July to 8th August 2020 from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. A statement issued by the Government Communications Center said that the Public Authority for Water (DIAM) will deal with emergency reports during the movement ban, which includes the following: water leaks or pipe bursts via the eDIAM app. The 24-hour team will visit the site to solve the problems. In case you find a water shortage in the tank filled by the government's water system, file a report through eDIAM app or call on 1442. Your report will be handled according to the procedures. In case you find water shortage in your tank which needs to be filled by water tankers, then water tankers will be allowed to travel during the movement ban, provided that tanker owners shall produce evidence during movement, water filling and ownership cards. For any emergency related to water, contact the call center on 1442 or file a report through the eDIAM app, which is www.diam.om. GC confirmed that the electricity emergency team will be functional for 24 hours. In the event of an emergency, please contact the toll-free number in your area. GC also said that the following cases will be excluded from movement ban within the same governorate from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. Medical staff who work during the night shift, patients heading to hospitals and health centers within the wilaya. The statement also stated that shops and stores will be closed before 7 p.m. as employees need to return home before the movement ban. Also, since all shops will be closed, make sure to provide for basic needs at home during the movement ban, such as medications, food, cooking gas, etc. The checkpoints in Oman have been activated starting from 25th July Saturday. A statement issued online by Oman News Agency said, in the implementation of the decision of the Supreme Committee to deal with coronavirus, starting from Saturday evening at 7 p.m., units of the Royal Omani Army and units of the Royal Oman Police activated checkpoints with the start of the complete closure of all entrances and exits of the governorates of the Sultanate. The units were deployed to the checkpoints according to the deployment plan and as required to implement the decisions of the Supreme Committee that passed the total closure of the governorates until Saturday, August 8, 2020. Citizens and residents have shown their understanding of the goals for which checkpoints have been activated and have committed to all necessary measures for the sake of public interest, the statement by the Royal Oman Police said. All consumer items, including perishables, are being continuously and sufficiently supplied in the market during the lockdown, and there is no need to stock up, people have been assured. A number of officials and businessmen in the public and private sectors lauded the efforts made by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry in cooperation with the concerned authorities to ensure that the consumer items, commodities, and foodstuffs are available in the markets and commercial centers in all governorates of the Sultanate. They stress that all required items are being continuously and sufficiently supplied in the market. However, consumers should not go on buying spree randomly and take all preventive measures. All the shops and stores have consumer products sufficient for long periods. The ministry has taken measures for easy transit of good commodities between the various governorates. This is in framework of the precautionary and preventive measures approved by the Supreme Committee in charge of mechanism to deal with developments resulting due to the spread of the coronavirus. It is also a continuation of the efforts made by the ministry in coordination with government organizations, including Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industries, local factories and suppliers, to ensure the availability of items and products of basic needs in all governorates of the Sultanate. Mubarak bin Muhammad Al-Duhani, Director General of Commerce at the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, said that all foodstuffs and consumer goods were available in the markets of the Sultanate. Efforts are continuing to provide basic materials during the complete lockdown in the Governorate of the Sultanate from July 25th to August 8, 2020. Al-Dohani said that the ministry was taking all measures to ensure the supply of all necessary items in the local markets in the light of the decision taken by the Supreme Committee. Parents of students attending Indian school Muscat whose incomes have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic can apply for fee concessions for the current academic year. Parents who have lost their job because of the pandemic, have not received their salary because of the impact of the disease, or have been unable to run their businesses can all apply for fee concession. Those households which earn a total income of less than 500 Omani Riyal a month can also request a fee concession, the school said in a circular issued to all of its students. The above-mentioned fee concession will be in addition to the relief measures announced by the Board of Directors, Indian Schools in Oman. We look forward to your support and assure you that genuine requests of the parents will be considered by the School Management Committee, read the circular. The reduction in fee will be considered once certain important documents relating to this have been submitted. These include a copy of the resident cards of both parents, rent agreement copies, salary certificate and salary slips from the company, bank statements of the last 6 months showing salary transfer from January to June 2020, a letter from the sponsors in the required format provided in the application form, and documents for the evidence for the loss of business activity, including shops where applicable. Parents are requested to submit the required details by filling in the fee concession form available on the website at www.ismoman.com/circulars.html. The filled-in form along with the supporting documents can be sent through email, which is feeconcessions@ismoman.com, or by submitting the hard copies to the school office between 8:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. on all working days. The Criminal Department at the Court of Appeal sentenced a public employee to 10 years in prison and imposed a fine of more than 150,000 Omani Riyals for embezzlement and money laundering crimes. Public prosecution said in a statement that the Criminal Department at the Court of Appeals found the accused guilty of embezzlement and sentenced him to 5 years of imprisonment and imposed to a fine of 1,204,245 Omani Riyals with the obligation to pay a fine equivalent to the amount embezzled. The court also convicted him for money laundering. He has been additionally sentenced to 5 years imprisonment and was fined 50,000 Omani Riyal. Also, he has been dismissed from his job and has been deprived of holding any public positions in the future, and his seized funds have also been confiscated, the public prosecution added. It's time for a quick commercial break, but stay tuned as we have a very interesting guest joining us in the next segment who's going to be talking about COVID-19 and the Bangladeshi community. So stay tuned. Welcome back to TTV. You're watching Midday Update. As I mentioned you, in this segment, we'll be talking about COVID-19 and how it has impacted the Bangladeshi community based in the Sultanate. For this segment, we have Dr. Jannatul Naeem joining us, who is the Convener Women's Wing Bangladesh Social Club Muscat. Thank you so much, Dr. Jannat, for joining us in today's session.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for giving me this chance to join this show.
Walaikum assalam. So, Dr. Jannat, as you know, the repatriation, the special flights have actually been in place for quite some time now in Oman. And I actually wanted to ask you, considering the COVID-19 situation and the impact it has on all the communities, in fact, across the globe, what kind of impact it had on Bangladeshi community and how many people have actually registered to go back home?
Thank you so much for your question. Basically, we have got so many questions and so many applications. And as per my concern, I think that near about 1,000 people right now want to go home earliest time. But I can say one thing, that within this 1,000 people, most of them are holding the family visas, or they just came to as a visit visa too. They just came to visit their families and friends. After that, they become stuck because of lockdown. And some very few people of them, they are just economical crisis. They want to go back to the country.
Dr. Jannat, do you happen to know the procedure of how Bangladeshi in Oman can actually apply to register themselves at the embassy and then get on board with the repatriation flights?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, first of all, they have to go to the embassy. They have to collect a form. Otherwise, they can collect the form online, and after that, they have to fill the form and submit it. And from that form, and some authorized people, they will select the who should go first, like this. And there's some contact number also. They can contact through the phone number.
Thank you, Dr. Jannat. Talking about COVID-19 and the challenges and the impact it has on the community, in your opinion, what are the challenges faced by the Bangladeshi community?
Basically, see, not about only Bangladeshi community. I think that total planet is on a challenging situation, and mostly that in Bangladeshi, most of the people are they're continuing some small businesses like tailoring, barber shop, small cafeteria. Some are in the construction site. So as per the lockdown is continuing for the 3 to 4 months, they can't open their shop. They're economically problem. They're facing problem economically, and some of them also have to help their families in Bangladesh also. In that case, also their families are also. It's like chain manner, huh? So all of them are economically they are feeling crisis. But as when they are talking to us, then we try to console them that inshallah everything will be settled down once the COVID-19 problem is settled.
Dr. Jannat, you yourself is a convener at Women's Wing for Bangladesh Social Club Muscat, and you know all the challenges and the problems the community are facing. And like you said, it's just not the Bangladeshi community, it's all the communities, the various nationalities that has had an impact and the effect of COVID-19 are facing more or less the same situation and challenges in the country. Talking about your role at the Bangladeshi Social Club Muscat, what kind of problems are you getting, and what kind of help has the community club provided to the locals in the country?
Okay, regarding the problems, as from the beginning I told you, mostly that some people they are working in a daily basis, they can't even go their work, and economically they are feeling crisis. And what type of, if you ask about me the role, then from the just beginning of the pandemic situation, we started publishing leaflets about the health to concern the people about health issues, about the pandemic situations. And just starting of the lockdown, then we started distributing N95 masks among people who are more vulnerable to get that infection, like in the vegetable markets in about that areas and some other crowded areas. We try to distribute that mask. And also just during the Ramadan period, we try to help the poor families by giving or donating foodstuffs. Okay, near about, and it's of course all these things are incorporated with the Bangladesh Embassy of Oman. In help with the Bangladesh Embassy of Oman, we help near about 1,500 families in this issue.
Dr. Jannat, as you know that the Eid ul-Adha is right around the corner. It's starting on Friday, and the holidays for the Eid has already been announced and extended further, starting from Thursday, which will continue until next Thursday, August 6th. And Dr. Jannat, we all know that Eid is a celebration for Muslims, especially, when they actually get together and they spend more quality and family time. And considering the COVID-19 situation, which has led to a lockdown in the Sultanate, what do you think, how difficult it is going to be for people to actually celebrate Eid in their homes, and how important is for them to actually follow the measures and precautions provided out there by the Supreme Committee, the Ministry of Health, and the Royal Oman Police?
Okay. Actually, it's really very important to obey the rules and regulations imposed by the authorities. As far I know, wherever we are staying or whatever the state, we should abide by the rules of the state, definitely. And during the Eid ul-Adha, there is a more chance of getting and spreading infection, because Eid ul-Adha, during this, there is people have to go to the shop for like buying animals for the sacrifices. There is a chance of more get together and more increased spreading of infection. So in that case, I would like to thank the authorities for imposing this lockdown rules right now, so that inshallah there will be restriction of infection.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jannat. It's time for a quick commercial break, but stay tuned as we have more questions to ask from Dr. Jannat. Keep watching TTV. A break. Welcome back. As we were talking before going out on a break with Dr. Jannat, that how important it is for people to follow the rules and regulations placed in by the respected authorities in the country to help control the spread of COVID-19. And Dr. Jannat was telling us like how important it is to follow the rules and regulations. And on that note, Dr. Jannat, I wanted to ask, while there are rules and regulations out in the place, there are also people who really do not take it seriously and who do not abide by the rules and regulations. How serious do you think people should actually take these rules to protect themselves and people around them?
Okay, actually, for those person who are unlikely to take this lockdown rules not seriously, for them, I'm telling you, what you do right now, what you meet is like a life and death decisions. It may not your life, it may not cost you life, but your choices can be a choice in bit for someone you love or dear ones or your near ones or for a complete stranger. Till now, most of the people are susceptible to this infection as long as this virus is circulating in our environment. So, and there is a more chance of getting punishment also if you're not obeying this lockdowns rules. So I request for saving your life and your near and dear ones, please maintain this lockdown rules properly.
I just wanted to ask, while we were talking about Eid and the COVID situation, I also wanted to know how different is Eid celebrated amongst the Bangladeshi community in Oman or in Bangladesh, and how is it different from Oman? How do you usually celebrate Eid?
Okay, Eid ul Adha actually second Eid in our religion, which is celebrated worldwide every year. Basically the purpose of mostly we told until this Eid ul Adha as a Eid of sacrifice. Normally during Eid ul Adha we sacrifices in the name of Allah to see our show our devotion and sacrifices towards our religion and towards Allah. And in this case, in our country, it's obligatory to distribute this meat of these animals in equal three parts. One for your family, one part is for the near and like friends and relatives, and one part for the poor persons. So normally we are celebrating after finishing our Eid prayer and after finishing the sacrifices. Then we keep visiting each other and our friends, relatives, and colleagues like this. And the whole day we keep busy with each other.
That is actually the true essence of Eid. It's like a celebration within the families and, meeting people you haven't been seen for a long time. So Eid comes as an excuse to actually visit them and spend time with them and exchange some meat. But Dr. Jannat, now, we are in the middle of the pandemic. COVID is there, lockdown is there. How difficult it is going to be this time, or how you are planning to celebrate it this time, considering the lockdown and all the restrictions put in by the respected authorities?
However, actually, in this pandemic situation, even the Great Hajj is also compromised this year. So I think that this year we should stay at home. We will finish of course, we will pray. We'll finish our Eid prayer, but not like the as usual times. This time we will stay our home. We will avoid the get together and meet with one another. And of course, we will praying for the total ummah so that inshallah we will all together with our near and dear ones will be able to celebrate next year our Eid with greater joy.
There are a lot of people watching the show right now, and they really would want to know how can you encourage them to stay at home, and what are the tips and advices you can tell them, because now the Eid has been extended from Thursday to another Thursday, so it's like a whole week time. What advice do you have for them to do during this time, and what kind of activities or engagement they can actually have within the family to actually feel the celebration?
Okay, thank you so much for seeing this show. Actually, I would like to message that don't expect that someone will come to your life and they will keep you safe. We all have a part to play in protecting ourselves and one another. Finally, I would like to give some again message. I know you already know about this, like hand wash properly, at least minimum 10-20 seconds. Wear mask in public places, avoid get together, maintain the social distances minimum 2 meter, eat nutritious food. And of course, if you get that COVID-19 infection, please don't be panic. There is a very good health system in Oman, alhamdulillah. If you get the infection, immediately seek help from your healthcare provider. And today, I would like to finish my today's show with one of my most favorite quotes. Like life is not about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. So create your life with better decisions. Stay safe, stay home, take care, and all of you wish you a very good Eid Mubarak.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Jannat, for joining us today's session. It was lovely to have you on our show and to share some insightful information how Eid is celebrated among the Bangladeshi community and how different it is from here. Thank you once again for being here.
Thank you so much also for giving me this chance. Thank you. Thank you so much.
It is always our pleasure, Dr. Jannat. Thank you for tuning into today's episode. We'll be back again tomorrow, same time, with our show Outline. So stay tuned and keep watching TTV.
You've just heard the live feed from the TTV studios on TFM.